Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Two Up and Two Down. And we're finally getting to this episode, The Marine Biologist. And Tony, start us off with your first up.
Marine Biologist, Season 5. Talk about an episode. Ron Hogg and Charlie Rubin. Ohio will give you all the stats when it's time, but we're going to both give you two ups and two downs about this episode. Yes, we are going to give two downs, and we'll give you the grades. This is, if you want to talk about, prime of your career, this might be as prime as it gets, folks. The heart of season 5, February sweeps. The Marine Biologist, episode 78, so kind of almost the middle of the entire run. So if you want to talk about prime, this is Don Mattingly 1985 right here, folks. Okay, first up, where to begin? I was just talking before we went live. I got a page and a half up, so where do I start? I should have been more prepared to give you my first up because I got so much written down. All right, here's my first up. And you know what? Like I said, so much to choose from. Only because this is something, again, I say this a lot. Hit your bingo cards on this one too. I use this line all the time. And it's one of those that, in an episode with so many ups, I'll just pull this one out. When Kramer comes in, who wants to have some fun? He's all excited. Are you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun? And then he does that little monologue, we drive out to rock. 600 title list he has, which is fucking incredible. Go out to Rockaway. I love the way he says it. And then, the ball goes up and then clink. That whole thing by Kramer there. It's just holds there for a moment. It's got everything you want in a Kramer scene, quick to the point. Every line is perfect. And then Jerry George says, we'll go get some coffee, just, wrap it right up and get Kramer does his thing, get between the dudes. It's just such a great Kramer. We love when Kramer golfs, but this was just, to me, it was right kind of in the middle of the episode too. We'll get there, but this episode moves so well, and there's just no wasted at all in it. And that's one of those scenes that they didn't waste a lot of time there with Kramer. He just came in, did his thing, and got out. But delivered perfectly by Michael Richards. So that's my first up.
Yeah, no, wonderful scene there. So yeah, and I like how when George and Jerry leave, George pops his head in and says, "Keep your head down," and Kramer's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Thanks. So yeah, good up. Chris, over to you. What do you got for your first up?
Yeah, the K-Man. And I think he said he stole or he took him from the driving range. I mean, you clearly can't do that, obviously. I never thought of that. People do it, obviously, but
well, sometimes just some courses you could collect them. The driving range is next to the course. Sometimes I'll just pick them up, put them in my bag. But
yeah,
shots land on the course.
I don't know how legal that is. Yeah, but anyway, but Kramer, things I would want to do with these characters. Yeah, I would go to the beach with him and hit balls any day of the week. So, yeah, Tony said tons going on in this episode. It's got to be the scene back in Monk's after Jerry sees the it girl Diane DeCon at the ATM and he's telling George the story. When they get back and they kind of talk about things, nothing better. So, and then George so happy, Diane DeCon remembered my name. I mean, like a seventh grader, happy that the it girl remembered who he was. And then obviously he says she's the it girl. If you're messing with me or whatever George says there. And then obviously Jerry says, expect a call. I love that. Expect a call. It's just so perfectly said and written, like just these little things that weaved in. And then obviously, now I should tell you, she's under the impression you're a marine biologist. And then da-da-da-da-da. So, but that scene where Jerry, and the way he's drinking his coffee, everything about it is just hits. And it's the little things, like I said, expect a call. And George is just pure excitement, and then kind of like, wait a minute, what? So and then they get into it. But for me, back at Monk's after the ATM stuff, Jerry delivering the incredible news to Georgie Boy.
What's terrible is we can only give 2 ups from each of you, and Chris, that's a great scene that you just mentioned, so definitely worthy there. Obviously some aren't going to make the cut, and we also spoke to Diane, Rosalind Allen, so tune in to our interview with her. She's a great lady. Had a wonderful time with her. So Tony, back to you. What's your second up?
Yeah, it's just so good. And this is a lie. This is some kind of sick joke. Oh man, they can't remember her name. He announces it to the whole diner. So good. I'm gonna go with another one. Again, I'm trying to find ones here that are, like there's so many, but it's kind of a long one, but I think it's okay in this episode. O'Hara's gonna have plenty to choose from. From beginning to end, I absolutely love, just on another rewatch today, when Jerry tells Elaine that it's war, what is it good for? And he sticks with the bit, and she finally believes him. And I'm just gonna keep. And then when she's telling Testikov in the limo, Lippman and her in the limo, Lippman's trying to stop her, love Lippman, and she's going on and on about it was the mistress, and war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Elaine is delivering on all cylinders in this scene, in this episode. Just incredible, Elaine. She's all excited. She has this little story to tell, and then she goes back and has to tell Jerry that the Russian writer, and Jerry's like, you told him that? Like, she just laughs like right there. Like, what are you doing? I just love that it all comes together where Jerry convinces her it's real. Although I don't love lie jokes. To George's point, if Jerry was messing with him, that'd be a really mean trick, but he wasn't. But he did mess with Elaine because he did not think she'd be dumb enough to say it to Testikov, and she does, and she's so confident. And then she got to go back to Jerry and tell him how she told him. I just love it all there. I just love Jerry just can't believe it. And Elaine just, the ups and downs there with Elaine is solid. So that's my second up.
Yeah, another good pick. All right, so Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
Yeah, great stuff. Mine's kind of all the ups are gone now. It's kind of an extended up too, but it's the last scene of what I'm talking about here. So pretty much like the opening scene, little Golden Boy stuff, fine. So you get a little Jerry Elaine, and then George comes in. Your mother reads your mail. There's just everything's so boom, like boom. And then obviously the alumni magazine. So a lot going on. Everything's kind of setting the tone. And then Elaine leaves. And it's underrated. I don't know if you had this here, but Kramer obviously coming back with the clubs, they're falling all over the place, and he ends up giving her the electric organizer, and like she's so happy and elated, and it's just a weird little quick connection there. And the K-Man got at the bank. I love Kramer with the bank, whether it's this or the hello, all that stuff. Kramer just always has these things, and he's looking out for Elaine. There's just some loyalty there. He's like, I figured you'd like this. And, I don't know. It was small, but his physical humor there was really good. And it kind of set the tone for more of the golf stuff that happened. So that whole kind of opening scene where they're all kind of come together in this weird little way to set the tone of the episode was just fantastic. So from the writing to the acting, to the directing, it flowed so well, and then it ended just with that little Kramer giving her the electric organizer, which was great. So those are a couple of my second ups. There we go.
And that's good because now we're going to start the downs. So Tony, me, the marine biologist, what do you find as a down here?
Oh, I forgot we were even doing downs. I was ready to go off on more ups. You got me carried away here. I was about to throw, but just to piggyback off that, you want these? I stink. I love that Kramer. I think about it every time I'm on the golf course. So good. And the mail stuff, incredible. He mentioned too as well. She'll open. I was curious. I mean, that's just amazing stuff. And I wrote the exact same thing down. Kramer's so loyal, always looking out, has the pocket organizer just for like, oh, wait, hold on, I got something for you, thought of her. Love it. Downs, right? The marine biologist. Now, I'm sure O'Hara would get there, but I'll just say it. O'Hara loves to say this. If you pulled America, this would be the #1 episode by Seinfeld fans around the world. And he might be right. I couldn't disagree. I think it's universally loved, but we have to put our analyst hats on here and find some downs. So I do have a couple. Which one do I go with that? He's probably going to take one of these because there aren't a lot, but I'm going to go with this one because this one always bothers me. And this is kind of a theme, I think, with me. We're getting somewhere with this. I bring this up a lot. George throws Jerry the phone. Kind of cool. Jerry catches it. Jerry's on the phone for about 4 seconds, says, hold on, and then regurgitates to George a whole thing about what happened. Guess what happened? Lady was walking down the street, hits in the head with the thing, finds my number, tells his whole story. It happens a lot in the show, and I know they have to move the plot along, but can we do it a little bit more believable, please? I don't like suspending my disbelief for a sitcom that's rooted in reality. I mean, what are we doing? He gets on the phone for a half a second, and then he tells her to hold on so he can tell George a story. There's so much wrong with that. Hang up. Oh, thank you. Hang up, then tell George a story, or let her tell the. There wasn't enough time for it all to happen. I never liked that. They don't play. Jerry does that a lot. Wait a second. He always answers the phone and gets so much information from the phone so quickly. It never sits well with me. And this is one of those that, I mean, obviously it's a small imperfection in an otherwise amazing episode, but we got to find downs. And it's just one of those things where it's like, he could have just, they wanted to speed it along. I get it, but like, it just is, it's so silly, like how fast he gives more information than he got. And also the hold on part is weird to me. Like, just get off the phone with her and then tell George a story. I don't know. It's one of those things we got to find down. So there's my first.
Yeah, like you said, and a little nitpick, we understand, why they do it, but yeah, it is a little bothersome. But moving on, Chris, over to you. What's your first down?
A little bothersome. Tony, he is tough on Jerry, especially Jerry with a phone. You give Jerry a phone, just put it down, no matter what it is. I don't know.
Always stand by the whatever happened at a Mets game. Don't tell me that's the phone Jerry I love.
Yeah, I mean, gee, he's timing this. Didn't even think about that. But anyway, okay, here we go. I have two here with them, but I'll just use one of them. Testikov in the hotel. That scene never really sat well with me. Are you Americans in your sneakers? Like, just yelling and like, I don't know. I get it. The woman didn't have insurance, but this is Elaine's job, right? Big job. Big publishing company. Those bastards dependent, but she's taping her big ticket and like going to get him in trouble to end up paying for it. Like, none of that jive. Like, they could have just asked them. Or Pendant, it was a Pendant limo. It's not like Pendant could have just paid for it. Like, what? Why did? And then Teskov just yelling. I guess he played the part well, but didn't love Testikov there. America's in your sneakers. I probably laugh at it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean? And what the hell's did Jerry really have to go up there too? Just was he a witness? I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it reminded me of. Maybe in future episodes, like him going up there, Mr. Pitt. Just I don't know. Never loved the Testikov in the hotel scene. What can I tell you? So that'll be my my first down.
No, yeah, I totally agree with you with that scene. Trying to shake down Testikov for the insurance money. So yeah, good pick. Tony, over to you. What's your second down?
Yeah, I don't know. I liked Testikov. I get where you're going with that scene, though. Jerry's like, getting run with the sneakers or whatever. It's kind of funny. But good call with the pit thing. I don't know why. It made sense to me when you said it. He went there because Elaine made him, I believe. And she was just like, you're coming with me because she was so pissed. But I just thought of this too. Testikov and Elaine's dad, both very grumpy writers. I don't know if they never really tied that in because they kind of just forget about Elaine's dad later on. But it is one of those interesting things. Second down is another. Well, see, this is the thing. I'm going to save. I only. I want to get this one in there, and maybe I'll use the other one when I give a grade just to say it. But um, my second down is the Golden Boy tie-in at the end. That he didn't make it, and now he's wearing baby blue. I mean, we had the perfect ending of all time with this episode. Do we need to just tie it all back to Golden Boy? Listen, I've had T-shirts that say 1994 on them, and I'm wearing them in 2020. So I get saving T-shirts. They don't not make it. Okay, they make it every time. So and it wasn't even torn or ripped, had no shreds, had no fade on it at all. I mean, I've saved T-shirts for 30 years. These things start to deteriorate. He shows one little thing on the thing. I do like the beginning when he's talking about it. I get the saving T-shirts, obviously. I've been saving T-shirts forever, and rinse, wash, spin, repeat, take that away from him. Good stuff. Don't need to tie it at the end. He didn't make it in the whole thing. Like, we just ended one of the greatest endings of all time with an episode. I don't need to see more of it with the Golden Boy tie-in. I think, for my money, it's 15 seconds we didn't need. And if we're talking about nitpicking, I got to throw it out there as my next down.
Yeah, it's not the T-shirt episode; it's the marine biologist episode. So yeah, I agree with you, Tony. So Chris, over to you. Give us your second up, or I'm sorry, second down.
Listen, my partner is tough on Jerry. We know this consistently. And even the I didn't even like the line. Speaking about the ending, it was like Rocky 1 or like, but I did like it was a delicate ending here, right? They could have ended, as a titleless, boom, call it a day. But I did like, and they probably could have cut this too, but I do enjoy the line with what happened. Diana Khan said, "Go to hell," and I took a bus home. Or maybe it could have just ended right there, right after that. I don't know. You can play with that. You're laughing so hard after the monologue. None of that crap even mattered at the end. The Rocky 1, you name it. Even the take the bus home. But I won't. Yeah, I won't use that. Yeah. Another down is. You guys even realize Newman's in this episode? The shoe falling on him. Like, enough with the theme of things hitting you. Okay, it's just very cartoonish, very sitcom-ish. All right, I get the organizer, and I guess Kramer was shaking out sand. Was that the theme out the window? And Newman looks up, and I don't know. Not needed. To Tony's point, I think there were a couple, and that was probably 10 seconds or less of things you just didn't need. Things you probably don't even remember. But when you analyze it and rewatch it, it could have got tighter there. They could have done more, in theory, like on the beach scene or something like that. So for me, the Newman getting hit, was Newman in any other part of that? Just that? I think it was just that. So to bring him in and give him a full fare, just get hit in the head with a boot, down.
Yeah, this kind of seemed like to throw in a little slapstick comedy just to have it in there for whatever reason, which to your point, they didn't need. So thank you guys for your ups and downs. So Tony, back to you. Give us your final thoughts and wrap it up with a grade.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about the Newman stuff. I think I missed it on the rewatch somehow, but he's 100% right. I agree. And just to kind of throw one more down before I pile on the ups. George says, "I didn't even know it was a job," when Jerry tells him that he made a marine biologist. When in the scene before, George is telling him how he knew about the squeaks and the squeals, and he essentially mentions the marine biologist when he's talking about the documentary. Never sat well with me as a small nitpick. Like, he knew it was a job. Why say I never even knew it was a job? You just told. That's what Jerry's point was. You came in with the squeaks and the squeals, what have you, right? We're nitpicking some downs just to have some levity, but marine biologist. We didn't even mention the ending. I mean, we did and we didn't, right? As a kind of an easy up. We're not going to give it as an up, folks. One of the all-timers of all time. George with the "you can't handle the truth" stuff. I love what Elaine's reading from the alumni magazine. Oh, Letterman, and they had a pilot at NBC, and it wasn't picked up. Just fucking right down to fucking amazing stuff. Processing. I mean, if you don't do that at the ATM every time you're at an ATM machine, I don't know what to tell you, because that's all that's in my head whenever I'm at an ATM machine. Any point in my life since I've seen this episode is processing, and he beats her. I mean, mean, incredible. The ATM race, that's such a Jerry thing. Algae, obviously plankton. I know my alleys. I mean, we can go on and on, obviously. We didn't even mention Corinne. We didn't really get on her too much, ups or downs. Carol Kane, that character, unlike any character in Seinfeld, something about this woman, the way she talks, obviously, the whole thing there. I don't want to bother the prostitute, she says to the guy in the thing. Waiting for two people. That lady, you don't see that character in any other Seinfeld episode. It was just kind of a one-off, which is very interesting. Just throwing out the rest of my thoughts here, all to say that the marine biologist, I mean, I wrote down an A+ before we even rewatched it. It's an A+. It's an all-timer. We can go higher. This is above an A+. This is in that like top 10, top 15, top 10, top 5. Maybe, like I said, people will call it their best episode ever. I don't think it's not my favorite episode of all time, but it's definitely an A+. There's no way around it. So A+ for the marine biologist.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the top 10 episodes ever of Seinfeld. So definitely worthy of that grade. So Chris, your thoughts and grade?
Yeah, Tony mentioned February, 35 million even watched this episode against a new Matlock, of course, and in living color. So just to give you a taste of what was on that night. Corinne, pretty funny. What do you say, Crowl? I love that little voice she does. Great job by Herschel finding her. Yeah, it was interesting. I love that. Like Elaine, like, what do you have the hots for her? And that's when Jerry goes into the Superman. I don't think Jerry was. I think Jerry just wanted to do the right thing here rather than go after the girls. That's why I thought it was perfect casting, because she wasn't Jerry's type, if you will. She kind of, in a way, she kind of reminded me of Sunday Theodore in some way. Maybe it's just a blah. I don't know. I know my alleys. I stink. Though, yeah, you mentioned it all. I mean, it's an A+. And I think we probably had polls of this on Twitter, and it came out number 1. This is kind of the episode everyone can agree on. To Tony's points, right in the middle. It's halfway between the beginning, halfway between the end. Pink hats love it. Traditionals love it. It's right there. So it's an episode everyone can agree on, I think, across the side. Again, is it our number 1? Probably not, but I think for the majority of America, I've said this a million times, I think this is the one. From everything we just mentioned, it's flawless. It's an A+. Everyone's on all cylinders. Everyone hitting the right speeds. Diane DeCon, Corinne, Lippman. Forgot about Lippman here. A lot of great stuff. Yeah. Well, what can you say? It's one that will live on forever. The beach scene, we talked to plankton, the octopus with the nostril. I mean, we can go on and on. It's as clean an A+ as you'll ever get. So A+ all timer.
There you have it, folks. A+ for the marine biologist, which I don't think was anybody's going to disagree with. Like you said, it's universally loved by all types of Seinfeld fans. So thank you guys again for giving us your opinions and analysts of these episodes. And we'll hope everybody tunes in for our next one. So have a good one.